Samudramanthan is also known as Samudramantanam, Sagar Manthan, Sagar Manthan, or Parkadal Kadaidal in Tamil. The story begins with Indra, the king of gods, riding his elephant. He came upon a sage named Durvasa. The sage decided to honor Indra by giving him a scented garland. Indra took the garland but placed it on the forehead of his elephant. The elephant was irritated by the scent and threw the garland off, trampling on it. The angry sage cursed Indra and the Adityas, the gods, to lose all their wealth and be deprived of Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth and prosperity. Indra was thus immediately dispossessed of all his wealth and treasures. Indra then approached Brahma, the creator, to help him regain his treasures. Brahma suggested Indra to churn the ocean of milk in order to regain his treasures and obtain the nectar of immortality. However, such a stupendous task could not be performed by the Adityas, the gods alone. So they sought the help of their enemies, the Asuras, with the understanding that the Asuras would be allowed to partake a portion of the Amrita, the divine nectar of immortality. The ocean was churned by using the Mount Manthara as the pole and the king of snakes Vasuki as the rope. The gods held the tail of the snake, while the demons, Asuras, held the head end of the snake, and they pulled on it alternatively, causing the mountain to rotate, which in turn churned the ocean. However, once the mountain was placed on the ocean, it began to sink. Then came Vishnu in his second incarnation in the form of a turtle, Kurma, and supported the mountain on his shell back. As the ocean was churned, a deadly poison known as Halahala emerged. This poison threatened to suffocate all living things. In response to various prayers, Shiva drank the poison. His wife Parvati, alarmed, stopped it in his throat with her hands. This caused the throat to turn blue. Due to this, Shiva is called Nilakanta. Then various treasures called Ratnas emerged from the ocean of milk. The 14 Ratnas were Sura, goddesses and creator of alcohol, as Apsarases, various divine nymphs like Ramba, Menaka, Kaustuba, the most valuable jewel in the world, Uchaishwaras, the divine 700 horse, Kalpagavrisha, the wish granting tree, Kamadenu, the first cow and the mother of all other cows, Airavata, the elephant of Indra, Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune and wealth, Parijat, the divine tree, Halahala, the deadly poison, Chandra, the moon, Dhanvantri, the doctor, Amrita, the nectar of immortality. Finally, Dhanvantri, the heavenly physician, emerged with a part containing Amrita, the heavenly nectar of immortality. As the Asuras rushed to take the nectar, the frightened Adityas appealed to Vishnu, who then took the form of Mohini. As a beautiful and enchanting damsel, Mohini distracted the Asuras, took the Amrita, and distributed it amongst the Adityas who drank it. The story ends with the rejuvenated Adityas defeating the Asuras. The story represents the spiritual endeavor of a person to achieve self-realization through concentration of mind, withdrawal of senses, control of desires, and practice of austerities and asceticism. The Devas and the Asuras represent the positives and negatives, respectively, of one's personality. The participation of both the Devas and the Asuras signifies that when one is seeking bliss through spiritual practice, one has to integrate and harmonize both the positive and negative aspects and put both energies to work for the common goal. The ocean of milk is the mind or the human consciousness. The mind is like an ocean, while the thoughts and emotions are the waves in the ocean. Mantara, the mountain, symbolizes concentration. The word Mantara is made up of two words, Mana and Dara, which means holding the mind in one line. This is possible only by concentration. Mount Mantara was upheld by Lord Vishnu as a Kurma, tortoise. The tortoise here symbolizes the withdrawal of the senses into oneself, just as a tortoise withdraws its head into its shell, as one practices mental concentration and meditation or contemplation. Vasuki symbolizes desire. Vasuki, used in the churning of the ocean, denotes that the Devas and the demons held desire to seek immortality as a rope and churn the mind with the help of concentration and withdrawal of the senses. Desire, if not controlled, will overpower and destroy an individual. The Halahala poison symbolizes suffering and pain, counter-reaction of the mind and body that one undergoes at the beginning of the spiritual practice or sadhana. When the mind is subjected to intense concentration, the first thing that comes out of the process is intense suffering and great inner turmoil. These must be resolved, otherwise, further progress is not possible. The various precious objects that came out of the ocean during the churning stand for the psychic or spiritual powers or siddhis which one gains as he or she progresses spiritually from stage to stage. The seeker should be careful about these powers as they can hamper his or her progress unless he or she uses them judiciously, not for selfish gains but for others' welfare. This is the reason why the gods and demons distributed these objects as they did not want to lose sight of their original aim, which was to gain immortality. Dhanvantri symbolizes health and signifies that immortality or the longevity or spiritual success can be achieved only when the mind and the body are in a perfect state of health. Mohini symbolizes delusion of the mind in the form of pride. It is the pride of achievement to which the asuras or the demons succumbed and thus lost sight of their goal. Pride and egoism are the last hurdles one has to overcome in spiritual life before experiencing self-realization. The Amrit symbolizes the ultimate achievement of the goal of self-realization. Lord Shiva symbolizes the ascetic principle. His role in this story as the consumer of poison suggests that one can deal with the early problems of spiritual life by cultivating the qualities of Lord Shiva, namely courage, initiative, willingness, discipline, simplicity, austerity, detachment, compassion, pure love, and asceticism. And now let's listen and view Shiva Tandava Sostram. It is a hymn of praise in the Hindu tradition that describes Shiva's power and beauty. It was sung by Ravana.